Welcome to the one about Godzilla movies. I'm Caleb. That's Brian.
And I am Saint Nick. Brian.
If you would like to see...
You can't tell we obviously we're recording this near Christmas. You can tell.
Yeah, I'm the elf, obviously.
The elf on the shelf, if you will.
Is that a...
He's been calling me naughty for years.
Is that... Oh, jeez.
All right, rein it in.
Back to my intro that I thought I was on rails there for a second. This is a show about Godzilla movies. It's the one about Godzilla movies. And if you'd like to know, or if you'd like to see Brian's like purely first time reaction to, like, I made him start recording before we got on Zoom to this hat, you can go to patreon.com/the one about Godzilla movies. I don't know why that was so hard to say. And you can give us money. And then you can see the entirety of this episode where we talk about unglazed hams and this hat and Velcro.
And Christmas plans.
So
those are, yeah. If I was doing a parody of the song My Favorite Things, those are probably the four things I would mention in the song.
I can't make the words work with the melody. Dang it.
I knew you were going to attempt it. We can move on from that. Today we're talking about Godzilla versus SpaceGodzilla.
SpaceGodzilla! Banana.
Which is what the theme song would be if Caleb had made the movie. This came out in 1994. Very good year.
1994.
What other kinds of things happened in 1994?
1994. I'm pretty sure the Bulls won a championship in 1994.
Here, how about this? You look up things that happened in 1994, and I will tell our viewers an overview of this movie. How's that?
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
I can tell you that it definitely was not a year that the Bulls won the finals. So
Sick. Well, you go look that up. In this movie, Godzilla versus SpaceGodzilla, this is in the Heisei era, a creature called SpaceGodzilla, imagine, arrives on Earth, builds a crystal fortress in Fukuoka. I can't say that. It's a city named Fukuoka. Fukuoka. Yeah, I should just sound it out. And before that, captures Little Godzilla, I think they call him. Godzilla travels to confront SpaceGodzilla. The United Nations deploys the anti-Godzilla robot Moguera, which sounds like it is a Mexican name, but it's not. It's actually an acronym. We can get into that later.
Moguera.
And it, assists in the battle and stuff. And ultimately destroys the shoulder crystals that are on SpaceGodzilla's shoulders. And also some of the crystals nearby, and weaken him. And then Godzilla sort of takes out this tower that's in the area, and they're all kind of defeated. And then Godzilla leaves, and little Godzilla's free, and the movie kind of ends. And there's way more to it than that, but that is a shorter overview than I typically say.
That's the 1,000-foot.
I tightened up the prompting over here.
Tighten it up
for these intros, because I just
Yeah. Oh, also, before we began recording, Brian took ChatGPT into the woodshed and tightened it up.
It's true,
if you will.
You may have noticed in the last two episodes when I read the sort of the overview, like a 10,000-foot level view, sort of the end of it, we were both like, "That's not true. That's not what happened." So I had a little talk with my ChatGPT thread, and I used some strong language,
I realized I forgot to say this. I thought before we were recording that if I ever get to a point where I'm not allowed to call ChatGPT a clanker, then I just want to be done. Like, you gave that clanker what for, and it deserved it.
I did. I basically said, "Hey, you did this, and it was incorrect. Explain yourself." That's one of my favorite things to do when ChatGPT doesn't get me what I wanted. And so I get it basically to justify and apologize for its behavior the first part is really what I was looking for.
Nice.
The apology I don't really care about. I'm just trying to figure out where it went wrong so I can make sure I ask the right questions.
Yep.
And tell it what not to do in the future. So, but that's the general idea of the movie.
While this movie came out, some other things you asked for it. 1994 was a pretty landmark year. We got Nelson Mandela becoming South Africa's first black president. Launch of the TV show Friends. The Lion King movie came out.
Of course.
The launch of the PlayStation. We lost Kurt Cobain and Richard Nixon. Well, actually, they died. We didn't lose them. They passed away.
For the same reason. The
O.J. Simpson trial started, and then some other things that we don't really care about, like Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump and the Rwandan genocide. Moving along.
I like Pulp Fiction. Imagine if I just had that box with the glowing light right now, and I just opened it, and my face was glowing.
Oh, I thought you were about to make a box of chocolates joke.
Add that in post. Typical lemon tree. I'm just kidding. Imagine. We should do that. We should do that every movie from now on. Like things that happened in the year the movie came out.
Oh, sure.
I only started thinking about it because it's like within my lifetime. We finally answered movies that are within my lifetime, and so the further on in time we get, the more relevant it'll be to memories I have of my own childhood and life. So, which you've been in for a few movies because, old man over here.
Aren't I? I'm pretty sure I'm older than you.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm calling you old.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Oh. So, dude, there's a lot going on in this movie, and
there's so much.
I would love to just jump right in. Enough with the shenanigans. I want to play Arc Raiders, so let's get this over with.
This was a tough movie to watch. I struggled to get through it. I noticed a lot of reviewers were with me on that. But I have, as always, specificity to my criticism.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the movie, like, we have a cold open, which is kind of cool. No credits or anything. Like, we just right into space.
What? Hey, Best Buy, why would I ever want that to happen? They're literally taking over my entire computer right now. Go away. I literally I clicked on a link on what is supposed to be a Godzilla Wikipedia, Gojipedia, and it like popped up, and this Best Buy ad popped up on top of it, and then went full screen, and like Safari shifted over and went full screen. And
you don't have ad block?
I don't know. Maybe I've been hacked. Probably been hacked. Anyways.
I'm going to do a brief PSA. If you don't have uBlock Origin in your browser, or if you're on Chrome, uBlock Origin Lite is the new version, LITE. Not only are you exposing yourself to a lot of annoying ads, but you are also putting yourself at risk of a lot of adware and stuff that comes from these ads. So, for protection's sake, you should absolutely consider. You got to realize, I have not seen an ad on YouTube on my computer for 15 years.
Wow.
How do not people know about ad block? I literally
I do have
an ad-free YouTube experience on YouTube for years. Yes. Anyways, you need to use uBlock because AdBlock Plus sold out probably 7 or 8 years ago.
See, that's why I'm seeing ads, because I have.
Yeah, because literally, all of a sudden I started seeing ads. I went into the settings of AdBlock, and lo and behold, there's a little checkbox that says allow some non-obtrusive advertising. And I said, are you kidding me? You sold out. And I switched to uBlock immediately.
Well,
and that's the letter U block.
TIL.
This is an educational podcast.
And I feel chastised. So,
Your life could be so much better
The
if you
offending-
just installed.
The offending party will be harshly dealt with and sacked.
A moose once bit my sister.
Are you kidding me? I
No,
bought
she
these.
was traveling with a... All right, we got to stay on track here. Let's get into this movie. I'm going to try and keep us on track. It's not going to work, but I'm going to try. I hope you insert a sound into that. Okay, so this movie starts with a cold open. What is a cold open? It is when the thing that you're watching goes right into a scene with no setup, establishing shot, context, titles, text, or anything. Just goes right into it. We are right into space, and we see this object, which is SpaceGodzilla traveling through space. It's kind of like this white, spiky-looking object, like one of those, stress balls. Except that it looks like it's sponsored by that one white flavor of Mountain Dew, Whiteout. It kind of looks like if you froze Whiteout and turned it into shards, but underneath,
I know.
underneath is some weird looking Godzilla.
I know that
and
the
there's
words you're
shards
speaking are all English, but like none. But it just like it's just word spray at this point. You lost me.
Literally, if you used whiteout to paint Godzilla underneath these spikes, it would look like the background art design on the label of Mountain Dew whiteout. That's what it looks like to me. I like Mountain Dew.
Sure.
And he's just kind of floating through space. Also, there's like a random shot of Mothra in space, just kind of like spewing spores of tiny little Mothras.
Just doing her
maybe some other things.
Just doing her Mothra magic, dude. The gold dust and the mini Mothras.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it opens. And again, I'm not the best with the details, but pretty early on, we're going to this island. This is where kind of some of my next notes are from.
Yeah.
There's some kind of interesting music. There's a kind of like a cool, scary theme for SpaceGodzilla that keeps coming back in this movie. I kind of like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the rest of the music is super great. The theme is kind of cool. So we hear that kind of at the beginning.
I started watching this like this afternoon with the kids around or whatever, just like until they got tired of it. We're like, let's watch something else. And that island scene, especially where they're like setting the scenery and everything of the island, Sam said the music sounded like Jurassic Park. And she was like, so either they lifted Jurassic Park from this or I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure this is after Jurassic Park. Like,
yeah, a year after.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So these two guys show up to this island and they're wearing rock climbing gear. And we don't know who they are. They do shortly after mention that they are from G-Force. And that is all of the context that we are given.
Mm-hmm.
They shortly after run into a guy named Yuki. And he looks like he washed ashore from a sunken ship.
Yeah, he looks like hell.
And he seems like he's been living there for some time, and he has a gun, and he's immediately telling them about how he has made some kind of bullet that he wants to kill Godzilla with.
A bullet full of blood coagulant. Where have we seen blood coagulant in Godzilla before, Brian?
I don't remember.
Shin Godzilla.
And
anyways.
Okay. That's really all the context that we're given. And it's very confusing. And you're left wondering, I'm left wondering, I'm going to go Seinfeld in this. Who are all these people? Is basically what I was asking myself throughout a lot of this film.
Huh.
To their credit, there are a lot of confusing moments in this film that they attempted to explain, not always very well, much later in the film, which is the wrong order.
What do you mean?
It's not helpful.
You tell that to Christopher Nolan. You tell that to what's his face that made Memento. Isn't that Christopher Nolan?
bring Christopher Nolan's name into this mess.
Isn't he suffered enough as it is?
So there's just kind of things happening on this island. We don't really know who these people are or why they're there or what's happening. Later, other characters show up and it becomes a little bit more clear that they are working on carrying out a mission concerning Godzilla, and he's been rumored to show up at this island. But for a good while, it's just like these three guys that they got, for some reason they have like a motorbike and they're just kind of riding around and stuff, and he's just kind of setting up tear gas explosions, and it's just like, what is happening? Like, the amount of times, literally 10 times this movie, that I was just like out loud, I was like, what? Like, literally. You're not even trying to give the watcher viewer any context for what is happening or why I should care or who these people are or what they're doing there or what they're trying to accomplish, what their goals are. Like, give me something, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was just painful. Yeah. So, this is a hard watch. Little Godzilla is there on the island. They do kind of a cute little 1954 homage with his head peeking up over the ridge.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of joking around about like he kind of likes Yuki or
he's fond of Yuki, and they're not
fond of Yuki.
Yuki says he's not his friend.
That doesn't pay off. There's really no point to that. It's just a throwaway line. He's just kind of hanging around. Yeah. Little Godzilla has no purpose in this movie, really. He's just there on the island, and at some point he gets captured by spikes, and then he's freed at the end. He's not a part of the plot of this movie. He's just in it so that he can be in the next one, presumably. There's just no reason for him to be there. If you could correct me, was he placed there on the island at the end of the last movie?
Was Godzilla placed there at the end of the last movie?
Little Godzilla. He was on the mainland for a good bit of the movie. And then did they like put him there? I just don't remember why he was on this island. I assume that was it.
I don't know if they ever actually say
I've already
what they
forgotten
did with him, but
if they did.
I don't think they ever actually said what they did with him. I feel like it's supposed to just be a like, hey, this is where he ended up kind of thing.
Yeah,
we had to put him
so
on
I thought Little Godzilla looked. We talked about liking the way he looks. Like when he first emerged in the movie, he emerged from like the egg and everything.
Yeah,
he's very different looking in this movie. Mm-hmm. He looks like a cartoon character. I don't think it looks good. I mean, it's very like.
It was probably like it was an appeal to kids. They were trying to do a little bit of that again, especially with the space idea. What's
the word for cute? The Japanese thing of like stuff that looks cute like that. It looks like that was like an influence. There's a word for it. You've mentioned it before, but that's what it was reminding me of. Like the big eyes, like the cartoonish. Like it's supposed to look like a baby animal. It's supposed to look cute.
Oh yeah,
that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Kawaii.
Kawaii. Yeah. That's the word. So yeah. I mean, it clearly look like is an homage to Godzilla, the design. Like it's got sort of the spikes running on the back and everything, but especially in the face area, it looks more like if they had done like an animated cartoon of the character. It's just, it doesn't feel like it matches the world it's in.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
There's no reason for him to be there.
Well, and he feels a little too like plastic and bubbly for the rest of the world, especially up against the other monsters. Like Godzilla and especially SpaceGodzilla being so just like angular and rough and tumble, and like, Godzilla's been through all of that, like nuclear radiation and, like we've talked about all that kind of stuff before, just like is kind of like torn up and stuff. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of weird. It got my 2-year-old interested. She was like, "Oh, is it Little Godzilla?" And she loved it. So,
yeah, I read some things in the trivia about that. So I'm not crazy. Other people criticize that. And then it said in the trivia that they changed the design in the next one. So presumably, maybe he's a part of the plot in the next one instead of just kind of being on an island for some reason.
We'll find out
on the side.
Yeah.
I will find out. Yeah. Yeah. So we do have. I mean, at some point, the rest of the people from what are they calling it?
G-Force, the UNGCC.
Yeah, they had another term, but it's basically G-Force. They basically, in the beginning of the film, they're like, so we sort of have like two pathways considering Godzilla. And that was really the only clear part in the first half of the movie, is that there's two ways of approaching Godzilla right now. One is sort of the military, like we're going to find him and try and kill him way. And that is through the, what's it called? The suit.
Mogera.
Mogera, yes.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a Mechagodzilla looking ship.
Yeah, it's a robot assembled out of a bunch of different things. It can do a whole bunch. It can change shape. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Mogera.
Mogera. Yeah.
It's fun fact. I mentioned this earlier. It is an acronym for Mobile Operation G-Force Universal Expert Robot Aerotype.
Huh.
Apparently.
I wonder which order they came up with that in.
I guess it's from the Mysterians, which is a different kaiju related film. But still, they sort of adapted it from that, a giant robot.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of where that comes
you said it's from the Backyardigans? What was it called?
The Mysterians.
The Mysterians. Okay, cool.
Which is another Toho franchise. That was like in the late 50s. It was a really old franchise.
Okay.
One of those other sort of space / kaiju related things.
Yeah.
That didn't have Godzilla in it.
I guess I can see where you're coming from with the like cold open, this is all kind of confusing thing. Maybe it's because I've seen this so many, or at least this one I've seen. These 90s ones I've kind of like pick and choose. It's kind of like it depended. They were mostly the ones that were on TV a lot, and it depended what one my brother Aaron was watching most of the time because he also got really into these. So I've seen this one probably like in the middle of the pack in terms of seeing it, but I guess especially once I picked up on the fact that there was kind of a little bit of like storyline through them or continuity, that it kind of was just like a new, like almost like an adventure of Scooby-Doo or an episode of Scooby-Doo or something. Like, what are we doing today to try to stop Godzilla? You know, like that's where the movie's going to start, is we're going to focus on like, what are the humans doing this time to try and stop Godzilla or something?
Well, they sort of established the two pathways that G-Force is focusing on.
Right. I mean, even before that,
one,
though, like you were talking like all the way up to that point, it's very confusing. Who are these people? What are they doing? Why are we here? Kind of thing. And
well, I think I think we had scenes at G-Force talking about these things before we go to the island.
Yeah, because
so the other pathway is we're going to try and control Godzilla.
Yeah, Project T,
and it can be he can be a defensive character against other threats. Like he can be the good guy if we can control him. Those are the two pathways. Mm-hmm. So I think the disconnect was, who are these guys on the island and what are they doing? It eventually becomes clear that there's sort of an advanced team and they're sort of involved with the, essentially the, let's put a controlling device in the back of Godzilla.
Right.
Like they're a part of that effort. But they don't say that. They're not like, hey, I'm this name and he's that name and we're from G-Force and we're trying to figure out how to control Godzilla. They're just kind of there.
But what's wrong with that because later they told you why they were there?
But they never...
Like
they're just kind of there.
You figured it out later. Like
the rest of the team that shows up, it's really clear what they're there to do. But the two guys are just already there. And then it's just like, oh, I guess they're friends. They must be a part of the same group.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like assumed.
So it's too
and
ambiguous.
I have a reason in the trivia, I have a reason why I know this is all this way. But I think it's bad.
Okay.
I'll just say the reason now. The original cut of this was 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And they they chose a director who hadn't directed any films. He's a second unit guy who worked on 2 Godzilla, well, maybe more than 2 Godzilla films. The second unit is like when you have your main director directing the film, and then you might have another set of crew who's shooting scenes simultaneously to some of the main scenes.
Okay.
And that's called the second unit. It's when you need to like shoot things simultaneously. And so you have a trusted guy who's carrying out the vision of the main director, and he's acting as the director of the second unit.
Yep.
So the director of this film was involved in that kind of work on a few Godzilla films.
Okay.
But not like, he barely did any work. Like I don't know. I don't think he was a great choice. Like inexperienced, whatever. Like he made the film. Toho went over his head in a bunch of cases. We're cutting things out with like going over his head, cutting things out.
Oh.
Because they're like, it needs to be this length. And they cut a bunch of stuff out. There's some scene with like submarines and a whole bunch of crazy stuff that they'd shot. They just like kind of were cutting stuff and inserting different things to make it shorter. And maybe like the 2.5 hour version made more sense. We'll give him some credit there.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But there was clearly a lot of context cut out of this film.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They just kept the bits that they thought were important, and I think it's obvious that they cut out context.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that like a lot of people think it's bad. Like it's widely considered to be the worst Heisei film.
Yeah, I mean,
even though there's lots of cool stuff in it, you can tell like there's stuff missing. It's just kind of a mess.
Yeah, well, that's actually like that's one of my like thoughts that I have been trying to like type out here, but I haven't been able to like put the words in order correctly yet. But like, is that there actually is kind of like a good story here and good moments and everything, but it like moves so quickly, and there are like big jumps, and just like it felt like an attempt at a modern storytelling kind of thing, but it just, like you said, like hearing that now makes it make more sense. Like because it is a very choppy, like all over the place film in that regard for sure.
Yeah, it has some of the campiness of the 70s era, which is fine, but also some of the lack of like helpful storytelling from the same era. I think it has both problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna have to pause here for station identification.
So we've got these people on the island. Yuki has made the other 2 dudes dig these giant holes and put tear gas in them. His plan is to, like, Godzilla comes to the island occasionally to check on little Godzilla. So his plan is whenever he shows up to use the tear gas to, 1, alert them that he's showed up, and 2, kind of like disorient him, hopefully. And then Yuki wants to shoot him in the chest with this bullet full of coagulant because the center of his chest is the only place that he can't protect.
Different goals.
So
the 2 guys are trying to shoot the control mechanism into the back of his head.
Yeah, so
the other guy's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Let's just point out, they're aware of the goals that they have, and they haven't had any conversations or arguments about approaching Godzilla with very different goals. They're just kind of both in the same area doing very different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very interesting that there was no like
this isn't acknowledged in any way.
Yeah, and I feel like it would have been,
one's trying to kill him, the other one's trying to keep him alive.
Yeah, and it would have been an actual like tension point, maybe a point of argument or something between the people.
Think
in a modern film for sure. Like that would have been
like maybe there's a scene that was cut. I'm like, wow, all right, things are just kind of happening.
Yeah, we're just moving right along.
So yeah, Godzilla does show up. Actually, first, baby Godzilla steps on some of the tear gas, and they're just kind of like, "Aww," and then it moves on.
Yeah.
Again, little Godzilla is just in this movie.
He's just there.
There's no reason for him to be there.
Yeah.
But big, real Godzilla shows up, and he is walking for a very long time. And maybe a little bit, they're trying to get him to turn. They're trying to shoot at him. He's walking in place and not really going anywhere. So they have time to try and, like, they spend a lot of time aiming at him and
trying
hoping
to
that
get
it'll
him to
turn
turn
so they
around.
can get the perfect shot.
Like, yeah, because the
It just is,
transmitter
like,
has to go
really
in
drawn
the
out.
back of his neck and the back of his head. Yuki needs him at the front. Like, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of screen time devoted to that. The transmitter finds its mark. Yuki's not successful. He keeps aiming and then running away and relocating and then aiming and running away and relocating, and I'm like, oh,
dude, I kept watching.
God.
I was just like, dude, why do we even need?
Why is any of this happening?
Why do you need more than just something that explodes when Godzilla steps on the beach, and like one of those, and then you just run out there, and pop him in the chest? Like, I don't understand.
It's okay if like all of that was happening in real life, but this is a movie, and you need pacing, and you need to not bore your audience. Like, one of those was sufficient for conveying the idea. Anyway, SpaceGodzilla shows up eventually, kind of flies in, and then
okay, yeah. Counterpoint that I wanted to make and talk about this. So they had,
and Mogura's in space, right?
correct, yeah. So
yeah, I forgot about that.
What happens is this stuff on the island with Godzilla, and they get the transmitter in him at the same time, or like shortly before that. Before that, while Mickey
it's intercut a bit.
While Mickey is like out walking in the woods, she is visited by the twins, the Mothra twins, right?
For some reason,
and they warn
Mickey's
her.
in this movie.
They warn her that SpaceGodzilla is coming, and that there's time to save Earth, but that Godzilla is the only one that can do it. So immediately it makes Project T even more legitimate, like at least in the viewer's eyes, or it should, right? Like, oh, we can't kill Godzilla. There's SpaceGodzilla. So they don't.
Yes, they're trying to involve her.
Exactly. So
I would argue that the Mothra involvement stuff in this movie is also like completely duplicated effort. There's no reason for Mothra to be involved.
Duplicated. Well,
they know that SpaceGodzilla is coming because they detected it on the monitors at their agency thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, they know that it's incoming, and they send Mogura out after it.
Yeah.
Like, they already know this.
Yeah, so Mogura is out into space chasing it. So this is the thing that I looked at and I went, okay, we've gone to the moon before, and we've gone like in a Godzilla movie, but from here we just flew from Earth to in between Mars and Jupiter is where they intercepted him in the asteroid belt.
I don't remember where.
That is, if you could just get in a rocket ship and fly off of Earth and fly in a straight line, which you can't, but if you could, it would take 10 to 15 days to make that trip there. In reality, it would actually take you a year and a half because of like, if you're trying to go to one specific point between Jupiter and Mars or whatever, like depending on where in the rotation we are, you're anywhere from 150 to 300 million kilometers away from that. Like, so they made it seem like it happened in a matter of hours. They did that fight and then they flew back and made it back shortly after SpaceGodzilla. And I was like, this is so, and I think that
they do a bit of a confrontation out there.
Yeah, they do a fight, but like
they're kind of flying back and forth. Nothing really happens though. That
kind of time compression or like lack of any like awareness of actually how much time is going on in the film is something that I appreciate more about modern storytelling in general. That we do a better job of making some kind of a note or something about like, hey, it's been this long. Or they talk about like, there's Shin Godzilla where they say, we've got this many days, they do that fight and he's like standing there asleep or whatever. And they know that he's shut down recharging. So they've got this many days or whatever to come up with their coagulation plan, blah, blah, blah.
Based on like the half-life or something, right?
Exactly.
They were doing like time calculations.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like that, I don't know. It's interesting that was never considered before, or that like they could have, like that's such a huge hole in so much of this. Like how much time has passed here? We're going from this island to now we're on Tokyo. This thing just made a 15-day journey in a matter of 3 minutes. Like just say something about that. And that would make so much more of this feel a lot less like chaotic, I think. even with all the random stuff that was cut out. It's just the whole movie suffers from like not only enough details in the way that it matters, like you said, but also like, why?
Yeah.
Just tell me it's been 10 days. Who cares? Like,
there were some UN meetings early on too, I think, where we have some American characters.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the first movie where they've got American dialogue sorted. Like they're speaking coherently in English.
Took it long enough.
Yeah.
And it was synced
ironic
with their
that it's in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not like, it's not like weird dialogue. It's like it's a believable, competent sounding character speaking English.
Yeah.
Long time coming. So, anyways.
So
yeah, Mickey's with the G-Force crew and the Project, I think it is.
Yeah,
all those people have shown up.
Yeah.
And, one of the scientist guys is making a lot of weird, suspicious faces.
He's just got a weird energy.
Wonder if he's maybe gonna, maybe he's up to something a little obvious. Suspicious looking faces. Something about him. They didn't really flesh out his character. He's just kind of there. Mickey is tasked with doing kind of psychic not telekinesis. That is actually a thing that happens later in the film, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not that. The talking to brains thing. Not telekinesis, the other thing. I don't know, the thing where you're just like talking to other people in their head or trying to mind control.
Yeah.
They have a headset they put on her and some vague dials and stuff, and they're trying to control him. It doesn't really work on the island. Doesn't go well.
They start losing the connection. The dude reaches over and tries, like, he starts pushing the power all the way up, and they're like, no, stop it. And then Mickey gets electrocuted, and then he's sitting there all like, ooh, like, whatever.
Something that I think probably someone would either consider really cool or really dumb. I went with really dumb. Either way, it was entertaining. Was this idea they decided to introduce in this movie that whenever she's using psychic abilities, her earring, like...
glows and moves
to the side.
Yeah.
Glows and like moves out to like the side, like it loses the effect of gravity or something. I'm like, why? It was just so ridiculous. I couldn't help but laugh. It didn't hurt the movie. I just thought it was such a hyper specific choice.
Yeah. Well,
and it's only the one earring.
Yeah, and
it's
I noticed
like one side of her head.
The earrings are the like the Mothra symbol, like the whatever. Anyways, that has nothing to do with it. It's just one of those details.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, so they do that experiment. It fails. She gets, electric, like shocked a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And then SpaceGodzilla shows up. And
yeah, there's a bit of a fight on this island.
Yeah. He's trying to kidnap little Godzilla.
Little Godzilla is sort of running over to Godzilla's side for protection, kind of a thing. A lot of zapping going on. When SpaceGodzilla lands, that was kind of cool. All the spikes on his back just kind of like melt and disappear.
Yeah.
And then we're left with kind of seeing what he really looks like, which he has like these spiky shoulders, like these two giant.
Yeah, they just look like giant
design.
Like crystals. Like it's kind of like Blastoise a little bit, but like
just sticking off his shoulders.
Yeah.
And they glow sometimes. He's got a lot of like his atomic breath is sort of like this red lightning.
Yeah.
Then there is a moment where he uses some kind of telekinesis and he's holding little Godzilla up in the air. Just in front of him, just kind of floating in front of him.
Yeah.
And there's sort of like this green energy sort of around it.
It looks like a Wi-Fi symbol.
It was an interesting idea. That was kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
Telekinesis is something that we do see throughout this film. Really cool idea. Just kind of a waste of the movie that they tried it out in, I think. But
I agree.
So that's in the fight. Have you seen the 1980s Dune?
I have not.
By any chance?
I have not.
I haven't. I've seen clips from it, so I'm going to reference something specific. I don't know if you've ever seen clips from sort of... So in Dune, if you've seen any of the Dunes, there's this idea of they have these sort of like shielded armor for like practicing that they can like turn on so they can like practice fight. And it's like this shield thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the new movies, it's got this cool kind of vibraty effect around them, and it like blocks like blades and things, kind of turns red if you start to get
so kind of like a light shield
cool.
almost, right? Like a
yeah,
energy
it looks really
shield
cool in the
or
movies.
something. Yeah.
The thing they did in the 80s, which you'd have to like look up a clip on YouTube or something. Maybe we could insert one, but Tippy Toe and Lemon Tree. It's sort of like this glowing box. It's almost like they're wearing cardboard boxes as armor, but the cardboard boxes are like this sort of translucent, a sort of ice looking material.
Yeah.
It's yellow in the movie, and so it's like it's sort of like a literal
Some kind of
shield that's
force
kind of
field.
floating, like it's bound to their joints and things. That is exactly what it looks like when SpaceGodzilla uses his shield to like block incoming things, except that it's white instead of like kind of the yellow. I have to just like wonder if it was inspired by that, because it looks exactly like that. I mean, it's like 10 years older than this movie, but
yeah, I never know. It's very
it's like the shield effect.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Yeah, it made me think of Tron a little bit too.
Oh yeah, sure.
So yeah, that like light shield kind of thing. So
also 80s,
yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. So yeah, let's keep moving on.
There's a fight on the island. I won't lie, my first thought was, oh good, more fighting in the middle of nowhere with no sense of scale to tell how big things are, just in sort of a vaguely circular,
here we are on an island in a tropical
area with not even any trees. Oh cool.
Yeah.
They're throwing stuff, or they're spitting at each other, whatever.
Yeah. Dude, now that it's interesting,
we've seen it before.
I'm kind of glad that you said something about the director being a second unit person, because that makes so much sense now. They're
just like, a newer guy.
Yeah, well, newer guy, but also his strengths would probably be in those types of scenes and not in the actual overall feel of the whole movie. Like, he's used to working on, like, you know, they probably sent him to, like, go
a piece of it.
Exactly. Like, you're going to go work on this fight scene or whatever, and whatever.
Yeah. So they leave the island.
Yeah.
We move on with the story.
Mickey stays behind, and the two dudes who were just randomly assigned to the island, they stay back with her as well at the last second.
Apparently, one of them has some kind of a thing with Mickey. I don't know if that was from an earlier film.
Yeah, it's from...
There's like a conversation at sunset that they have, and I'm like, am I supposed to know this guy
yeah,
is?
it's the one. It's the same dude from the same movie that they reference later on of... Because what's his face's brother died, and it's what is that? The Return of Godzilla or whatever, 85.
That's my thing though. Is like either you're supposed to remember all these characters, or it's like the reveals later. Like they do reference a lot of things. They explain why Yuki is trying to kill Godzilla, but they do it later. Like they don't present Yuki in a way where he's like this revenge bent guy. He's just like, I got this bullet and I've got coagulant in it and I'm trying to shoot at Godzilla. And you're like, okay, I guess you're doing that.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you're doing that? And like later they explain it, but they don't introduce him in a way that makes you wonder why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's just there. It's the same thing with this, where like there's this scene where they're having this conversation where the context is it's obvious that they like, there's like this question of like love or feelings or something. And she's like, she's talking about how we need to care about Godzilla like we care about each other, and I'm like, who are these people? Like, what's the point of saying it later when you had like this scene that like is needing this context of why these characters are having this conversation?
Yeah,
it makes the scene useless.
So
like it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
like you have to, you know, if it's a previous character, you got to remind them. Or a flashback, something. Like, there are lots of means at your disposal to make sure the audience knows who these people are and why they're having this conversation.
It just made me think of the last time that I went to a Chicago Blackhawks hockey game with my brother, and they were, I don't remember who they were playing, but it was
was sunset and you were talking about Godzilla?
It was a very boring game. middle of the second period. Nothing's really happening. We're up in the second balcony, and this dude, like, over to our right, like, up in the next balcony up, just, like, at the top of his lungs goes, "Do something! Anybody do something!" Because it was, like, play, no music in the arena. Bored. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just, like...
Oh, my gosh. He's like, "I'm bored." That's hilarious. Yeah, so they're hanging back on the island. I don't remember why or when they left the island, but they sure were there. Back at G-Force headquarters, this is the scene where they attempt to explain, but they don't.
Yeah.
Explain where SpaceGodzilla came from, or what he is, or whatever. One of the most contested points of the movie from the fans.
Another perfect example, I think, of they had a really great idea and they did a really shit job of explaining it. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. This movie is full of like pockets of like pretty good ideas, and they did a really bad job of connecting them together. Like, oh man.
So to start, they have like this diagram. They're explaining that they got that the G cells from SpaceGodzilla and Godzilla are the same. And the purpose of that is to show that SpaceGodzilla came from a G cell, and that's why like the cells are the same.
Yeah.
However, when did you get a G cell from SpaceGodzilla? No humans have been near SpaceGodzilla ever. The entire film. Where'd you get this G cell?
Yeah, it made me think
Come on.
Yeah, that
try.
Yeah, that drove me nuts right off the bat, and it was just like, it actually made me think of. I just kept thinking of like these things that would come up in my head, and I would just think about, wow, we as humans and like storytelling in general has gotten so much better since these movies came out, because I like, even me who doesn't write any of this kind of stuff for a living could, like, the first thought in my head was just like even if you don't show a team of people going out to do that, that should be the first sentence out of your mouth. Should be like, we had a team of people go to the island after the fight. They found some fragments of skin, from the fight, blah, blah, blah.
By the way, in that fight, SpaceGodzilla destroys and traps little Godzilla in spikes, and Godzilla leaves. Now you're trying to tell me that humans got a cell from SpaceGodzilla?
Why?
Like, when?
Yeah.
How?
Right?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, dude.
And then they attempt to explain how it was created by some vague flashbacks of Mothra and Biollante. And I don't even remember what they said, but it didn't make any sense. From the trivia, it's widely understood that they sort of said two explanations for how it came about.
Yeah,
they essentially said
were
one
like,
of them.
There are
conflicting explanations.
They said there were only two occasions on which Godzilla cells have been sent into space. It was one was Biollante, and two was on Mothra after the whatever that was with Batra.
Yeah,
no,
it was literally like the writers were like, "Well, here's two ways we can explain it. You decide."
Yeah.
You decide what you think happened. Yeah. We're gonna move on now.
Either way, we don't really care. These cells are the same thing.
Complete crap, man.
Black hole Godzilla.
Ridiculous.
Hey.
And then there's like a really, really random scene of just a bunch of like black suited characters in the middle of the night kidnapping Mickey from a tent.
It's the Yakuza.
Is it though?
Yes.
Okay, so we just have this scene of like, she just gets grabbed and then it fades to black, and then we cut to some other stuff. So Yuki is now at G-Force. Apparently, he works for the military people. We find out about, I think we find out around here that from like the one lady, why. That his brother was killed by Godzilla, and then he's obsessed with revenge, and that's why he's this way. Or maybe it's her brother. I'm mixing it up. It's her brother, or it's Yuki's brother.
It's Yuki's brother that was killed.
It's the guy.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, so it's a revenge story. Why not have him say some dialogue early in the film about revenge.
Yeah,
and
how the hell did we get...
this guy's my arch enemy. I can't wait to kill him.
How the hell did we get
for what he
45
did to my
minutes,
brother?
almost
I
an
don't know. You don't
hour
have to
into the
spell it
movie
out, but
before
there is zero indication that his motivation is revenge in any events of the island in the film at all. And just saying it later doesn't sell it. Like, you could show that someone is driven by revenge without saying it. Like, there's other ways of doing it. So anyways, that was like a moment where first he's like a crazy pirate trying to like shoot Godzilla with a gun bullet thing.
Title.
Something. All of a sudden he's like in uniform and it's like he works for the military guys. I'm like, they never explained that. Like, why was he on the island in the first place? And now he's just like back working for the military G-Force people and like reporting to a main commander guy. What?
Yeah, I think
I don't get that train at all. He's just kind of there and now he's wearing a uniform. Like,
to retrograde, like to retcon it, I guess it would be
like this movie made me question whether I'm racist so many times.
To George
like,
Lucas,
do I just not recognize this guy?
Oh my gosh. To retcon it, I understood it as his brother died. He has a chip on his shoulder about it. The government wants Godzilla dead. Nobody else is crazy enough to go do that. Again, these are all things that there could have been dialogue about this, or they could have told this in so many different ways. He wants revenge. He's the only one crazy enough to go do it. And so they say, fine, go out to that island and you just we'll give you whatever you want. Take care of it. At the same time, there have been people that have managed to convince the government and the military that no, we could actually probably control it. So that's where Project T has come in and Mickey and all of that. And he has been told at some point, Yuki has been told, you have...
Everything you're saying is so much better than what's in this movie.
Exactly, dude. It's so annoying.
It's not even worth saying because it's so frustrating.
Anyways, that's to retcon it. That's how I would have fixed it, I guess, is what I'm saying. They just did such a poor.
So he's back there, and
knowing that this dude was just a second unit guy,
sure,
that's another click. Okay, cool, makes sense. He's not good at.
He's there with
picture.
The two guys from the island. They're trying to track down Mickey. There's no sequence of them tracking her down. It kind of cuts right to. They're overlooking this place in the city, and they got binoculars. And he says something like, you see that house there? Looks like a normal house, right? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, wrong. It's the mafia. It's the Yakuza, as you said. It's the Japanese mafia. However, they rush into this place, and it's, the evil telekinesis guy, the psychic guy from earlier, turns out he's evil, and there's two American guys in there.
He's not psychic. He's just the doctor that was working on it, and he
the guy who was working with it was the Project T guy, basically.
Yeah.
He's there with two Americans in sort of a scientist looking setup, and Mickey's there strapped down, and he's trying to do sciencey things to control Godzilla through her. He's trying to control Godzilla himself because he says
and he's
the word
trying to,
destruction or something.
And he's trying to cheat. He's not trying to do it the way that they were trying to do it on the island. He is he mapped Mickey's mind and then was using those readings and had fed them into a computer, which is a very different way of controlling him than what they were attempting with.
It's a way
Mickey
of explaining
herself.
My beef with that is you just said this is a Yakuza house, and then you go inside and there's no Yakuza there. It's just science guys doing science things. Those don't line up for me at all.
No, yeah.
There should at least be some Yakuza henchmen there, or
should have been way harder for these random two G Unit guys to rock up. You have to
explain why a Yakuza boss was partnering with the Project T guy.
Why all of a sudden it failed?
Why say it's the Japanese mafia at all?
Yeah,
it clearly isn't. It's just a house with scientists in it.
And that dude hired a couple hitmen to go capture the girl.
Yeah, what I wrote down literally in my stuff I would change was the evil mind control scientist and several American guys hired the Japanese mafia to kidnap Mickey. Is that what you're saying?
Question mark? Yeah, it makes no sense.
Literally question mark. That's what I had. So that makes no sense.
So that was the thing that happened.
That was the thing that happened. So they break in and they have a lot of shooting. There's a very long amount of movie of them shooting at each other and not really anything else happening. Obviously, the end result is to rescue Mickey. It wasn't particularly a cool shootout. It was just like, this is the part we're keeping? Really? We cut the other stuff, but it's just going to be this long shootout for no reason? Where's the Godzilla?
Thanks, venture capitalism.
Let me remind you the name of this film. Godzilla versus SpaceGodzilla. So anyways, obviously human plots can be more interesting than the kaiju plots. It's not it. One really cool thing that happens in this scene, which I thought was two cool things, which I've never seen before. There's a scene where there's a bad guy in the room. Mickey's like strapped to the table, and one of the two guys, the guy who's like attached to her, the love interest, whatever, that guy, they're having a shootout. He tips her table sideways, the one that she's literally strapped to, as a defensive measure. And I thought, okay, that's interesting because he can shoot over it at the good guy.
Yeah.
But the good guy probably can't risk shooting at the bad guy.
Shooting his lover in the face.
In case he shoots her because she's on the side of like the table facing him.
Strapped to the table on her side.
I thought that was interesting. It's just like a very small nugget in a sea of garbage. Oh,
title.
Oh, there it is. And then the second cool thing happens, which Mickey laughs off as like, I've never tried this before, but I just thought I'd try it. And she uses telekinesis, which I don't know if this is how telekinesis is supposed to work,
it so much.
but she lifts herself in the air just enough for him to shoot the bad guy underneath the table. I kind of thought telekinesis had to be you controlling something else in space.
Was she
Can you use it on yourself?
Was she not controlling the table?
Maybe it's that. I'm just like thinking about, do we have any instances in like pop culture and movies and things of a character that can fly because they're using telekinesis on themselves? I feel like you lose the groundedness at some point.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're like using the telekinesis on the clothes you're wearing. I don't know. It looked cool. And it was literally just so he could shoot under her and shoot the bad guy. Cool. So that happened.
Hey, you know what? That was more grounded in science than Sigourney Weaver floating above the bed in Ghostbusters. And that's all I have to say about that. Moving on.
Yeah, but that movie was funny at least.
I'm going to go over to Miss Barrett's apartment and check her out. Check out Miss Barrett's apartment.
Dude, I love Ghostbusters 2.
With the pink slime? Yeah, dude.
I like it because it made me laugh more than the first one.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene is the one where Bill Murray is having her over to her apartment or something, and it's like all messy. And there's some amazing dialogue on that scene that just completely summarizes the bachelor pad lifestyle. I'm actually forgetting what it is. There's some quip about laundry.
Yeah.
That I just was like, yes.
I forgot about that, dude. That movie.
Something about not knowing what a laundry hamper was for or something. Or no, it's something about the different piles of laundry that are lying around are different states of laundry that exist between clean and dirty.
Yeah.
Like one more wear it is allowed in that pile, maybe two more wears in that, or something ridiculous. Where I was like, yes, I agree with this. But she's like, what are you talking about? Wow. Maybe I am ADD.
The quintessential, like, bachelor man versus bachelor woman. Like,
yes.
Bachelorette. Anyways.
It's a good time. SpaceGodzilla shows up again.
Oh, yeah. So.
And he lands in that city. The one I said earlier.
Fukuoka. Yeah.
Fuku something.
Fukuoka.
And it's pretty cool because he lands there and all these white spikes come out of the ground, and it like kind of, it's part cityscape, part, ice sculpture. With all these white spikes coming on the ground everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like kind of cool looking. And he just kind of sets up camp there, kind of like, I'm here now, come fight me if you dare, kind of a vibe. So that's where like, kind of like the rest of the plot goes.
Belong to us.
It's probably 2/3 of the movie, maybe half. There's a moment where I'm like, oh God. The whole rest of the movie is like a elongated fight. Sure was.
Can I be honest?
Just way long.
Can I be honest here?
Please do.
I fell asleep about 5 minutes after that and woke up after the movie had ended.
I was slow blinking a couple moments. And I got 12 hours of sleep last night.
Yeah, I didn't.
If that's not a rating of this movie, but I almost fell asleep while watching it after getting 12 hours of sleep. That's how boring this was.
So we can wrap it up. Huh?
Yeah, some stuff happens. So, the Muguera ship guys are kind of gearing up to go fight, and Godzilla does eventually fight up. There's a brief scene. This is a scene that I think added helpful context. It should have been added much earlier, where Yuki and the girl, they'd had the one with which they had a conversation about his brother being killed by Godzilla, and that's like his desire for revenge or whatever. So they have this moment, I think before he's getting on the ship, where she says something that basically amounts to, I share your desire for revenge. That is my summary of what she said.
Mickey says that
she
to
was
him?
basically saying, I understand your desire for revenge and I relate to it. I get it too. To which he responded, this is a paraphrase, my lighter is out of fuel. Please refill it. I'm not joking. I don't know if you were asleep at this part.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
That was insane. His response to what she said. Like, can you refill this lighter? And then he left. I'm like, what? Even
how
in Japanese, like,
dude. Wow. How
like not
how
even acknowledge what she said.
Oh no, that's so Japanese. Goodness gracious, dude.
I don't understand.
I didn't realize that was an actual oh man. Yeah, she basically was like, oh man.
I have very little to say about the rest of the movie. Do you?
No, I fell asleep, dude. They fight.
Okay, great. So I'll wrap us up. And
they fight. Godzilla wins. There are how many more movies after this? Obviously, Godzilla wins.
So what you missed is that Muguera separates into two pieces.
Yep.
One piece continues to fly around. Well, they both can fly around, but the head of it detaches and goes on to fight as like a ship. Where the head was turns into like a giant drill, and it can like go underground and drill. So they like basically go take out the foundation of this tower that's near SpaceGodzilla, so that it's weakened and can like fall and stuff. And ultimately, Godzilla like kind of like goes full tilt into that, and that's kind of how it ends. There's a lot of atomic breath things happening. More like red lightning out of SpaceGodzilla's mouth. I want to say it's from the flying ship that they end up taking out the icicle things on his shoulders.
Okay.
And it seems to weaken him. There's a lot of dialogue about, oh, he's weakened, and moving on to the next stage of their strategy for taking him down.
Yeah. Really
goes on for a long time. What else happens? There's another moment. I'm trying to remember what it was, actually. Oh, I'm pretty sure SpaceGodzilla, at some point in this fight, uses telekinesis on Godzilla himself. It was like lifting him in the air. It's kind of cool looking.
Great.
That was cool. There's some dialogue about Godzilla being powered up by all the stuff that's going on around him. Oh, all the spikes in the ground start lifting off like rockets and moving sideways and become like projectiles.
For SpaceGodzilla to like
zero explanation. Maybe it's telekinesis, but there's like sparkles coming out of the back, like they're rockets.
Great.
That's a thing that happens.
Huh.
Godzilla gets super powered up. His atomic breath goes red. same color as Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like unleashes his fury on like what's left of Space Godzilla and eventually defeats him. And I probably wasn't paying attention at the exact moment, but from other things I've read, there must be a brief scene of little Godzilla being released from where he's captive on the little island elsewhere. And then it ends with a Japanese pop song, which I did some research and could not find because it's not from an album of that artist. It was a song specifically recorded for this movie. Huh. Maybe it was released as a single or something. I couldn't find it.
All right.
But it literally was like it sounded like it was 80s era, but it wasn't. It was original. It was literally like a pop song.
Do you remember what the name of the artist was?
I have it in my Shazam on my phone, which is currently recording my face.
Dang it.
So I could tell it to you later, or we could try and dig it up. But it was like one of those things where the movie just kind of ends with some of the main characters having some final conversations on the beach where Godzilla is walking into the ocean in the background, and they're just kind of talking about stuff. And then like the credits just kind of roll over. It doesn't fade to black. The credits just start rolling over that film while the song plays. It's that style of an ending.
It's called Echoes of Love, Godzilla by Date of Birth.
By Date of Birth, yes. That's right. I kind of like the ending simply because it's like maybe the first instance of like a modern film ending where the credits are rolling at the end. They're rolling over in some sort of extended ending scene. It's still the scene's still rolling. Maybe it's like a helicopter shot or an aerial shot that's like kind of slowly moving away, and the credits start rolling over that footage. And the pop song comes in, and it's like it's a very familiar ending style to a lot of modern films that we've seen, where it's like the thing that tells us that the movie's ending.
Yeah.
So that's how the movie ends. And then the one other thing that I wrote down, stuff I would change, which is akin to what I said earlier about Little Godzilla really not adding anything to the film. There's a bunch of moments in this film. We talked about the first instance of like this sort of Mothra fairy visiting Miki and then like turning into the twins, and then it sort of turns back into a fairy and says vague stuff to her about stuff that's going to happen that we've already gleaned from elsewhere in the movie. I don't think that whole thing added anything to the movie. I think they were just trying to shoehorn something Mothra related into the film.
Yeah. Put
the little Mothra theme in the music and just try and like, oh wow, like it's a Mothra moment. Like earn it. Like do something that is actually like we didn't learn any important information.
This has been
that we didn't learn
Mothra
elsewhere.
Moment.
I think they were just trying to like make Mickey more of like a psychic character, or make her more. They didn't make her more important to the story.
Yeah,
she ultimately like it didn't break the Bechdel test by any standpoint. She was just there to be a psychic tool for controlling Godzilla, and that's the only reason she was there.
Yeah,
like that. So there's so much to criticize about this movie, but reading the trivia was very interesting. You want to talk trivia or overall rating?
Let's do ratings real quick, and then we can do trivia and get out of here.
I think I was generous. I gave it 3 out of 5.
I gave it 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gave a movie you fell asleep watching 3.5?
Well, that was my old rating. I need to update it. But that's what it was rated in Letterboxd before today.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I think I probably rated it at when I just kind of like jumped in the middle of the series and started watching some stuff. I'm going to take a second here. Let's just think about it. I think I would 3-star. Yeah, I don't know. 3 stars is generous. You're right. Somewhere like 2.5 or 3. I think. I don't know. It's kind of a disappointment to come back to, honestly.
I was bored many movements during this film.
Many moons.
Okay. Well, here's a really sad trivia item. This is Godzilla's 40th anniversary movie.
Oh.
I know.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I think maybe they rushed the production a bit as well, possibly. I think the 1998 American Godzilla film was supposed to be earlier in the 90s.
Oh, so they were like trying to get out ahead of it or something?
I think they were trying to add another Godzilla film into their release schedule to pad the time a bit and push things further down the line. Not good. This item is about the 2.5 hour runtime thing that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. They impose a lot of cuts during the storyline that, in theory, would have fleshed out the things that were sort of haphazardly thrown in. That makes sense. Toho made these cuts of their own volition. They removed a few things without his permission. I guess there was a sequence where Godzilla tries to free little Godzilla from the crystalline prison. I'm listing things that were cut. Godzilla battling another G-Force battalion in Kyushu on his way to Fukuoka. And a scene of little Godzilla being liberated from the prison. Maybe that scene wasn't actually in the film. I saw it described in some overviews, but I don't remember actually seeing it. So, the most baffling cut, it says, is showing Godzilla being a caring father, capable of compassion, trying to free his child, and yet they left in the sequence of Godzilla taking at least 10 minutes to come ashore on Birth Island. Literally. Yeah. I said how long it took? It was literally like 10 to 15 minutes of him arriving on shore really slowly. Why did we need 15 minutes of that?
Yeah.
So.
Hey.
Yeah.
I just thought of this. Do you have more trivia, actually?
There's some more things.
All right, go ahead.
This one's pointing out, this is sort of maybe a shift to Godzilla being a good guy again, because SpaceGodzilla is truly the villain of this movie. The last couple ones, Godzilla's been the villain. So this is another one of those nice little shifts. Godzilla and SpaceGodzilla never make physical contact during their fight at Birth Island. That's true. They just kind of like laser at each other for a while. There are a few more things. Yeah. I thought this film was notable for introducing the character of Fairy Mothra. It's not entirely clear if Fairy Mothra has an actual presence or is just a vision seen by Miki. Very unclear.
Fairy Mothra.
Very unclear what we're meant to understand from what we're seeing on the film.
Fairy Mothra sounds like it should be a strain of marijuana, if I'm going to be honest.
Fairy Mothra. Well, there was some concept art with SpaceGodzilla having 4 legs.
If you know what I mean.
So, but the final design... What? Doesn't even make any sense. The final design of SpaceGodzilla is a modified design of Super Godzilla from the Super Nintendo game Super Godzilla. I don't know if you ever played that.
No, I did not have a Nintendo.
It was a Super Nintendo game, apparently.
Did not have a Super Nintendo.
So, yep.
Interesting. Interesting.
4th major effects production done in only 2 years by the same crew making this movie happen. That explains some things.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 movie productions worth of special effects done by the same crew in 2 years flat.
Woof.
So they did what they could.
Guys made some money.
Also, I meant to mention this movie also did not air in the U.S. at all. It was distributed on VHS and I think DVD, and later other formats, but distributed by TriStar, just like the last couple ones. So these are ones that were mostly shown on cable channels, things like that. Probably the way you grew up watching
Sci-Fi
them. It never was in the theaters in the U.S.
Yeah.
I think that's been the case for all of the Heisei era films.
I have the first Godzilla movie I ever saw in a theater was
although
Matthew
85
Broderick.
was in the theater. Yeah,
I didn't see that. I was -3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw the 1998 Matthew Broderick one. But yeah.
Yeah.
Two things that I just thought of. One is a callback to another episode we talked about, because it shows up in Shin Godzilla. It's the Neon Genesis Evangelion battle theme with the drums that sound like timpani.
Timpanis.
Yeah. So that just kind of pops into my head randomly because I love that song. And like, when I'm in like go mode, like setting a stage for a show or whatever, that's what's going in my head. It's just dong, 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 dong. Anyways,
Like you're not even listening to music. It's just
no,
what your head
that's just
sounds
that's
like.
just yeah. Like I have this thing where I can hear a song in my head if I want to, as if I'm listening to it on headphones. It's kind of weird. Those drums, it turns out I did know the name for them. I Googled it real quick. There are only 2 pitches of those drums in Japanese, like culture or music or whatever. They're called taiko drums, Taiko, and they mean taiko is drum, and then odaiko is big drum. So you've got ogato daiko.
I'm familiar with taiko drums.
Yeah,
Are you sure those are taiko drums?
I believe so.
Taikos are huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was that. And then, so you just said Super Godzilla, and it made me think of, Super Mario. You know how everybody thinks that he's saying "It's me, Mario" with like a really like kind of racist Italian accent? It's me, Mario. That's not what he's saying. He's saying
It's a Japaneseism.
He's saying Super Mario. The word super in Japanese is Itsumi. Itsume. Itsumi Mario. So you
And
said
Mario is Japanese?
yeah, Nintendo.
Mario is not a Japanese word?
Yeah,
Oh.
but like in the original game, he just said the only sound he makes is "Itsumi Mario" is like how that opens. Anyways, you said Super Godzilla, so then it like in my head I went "Itsumi Gojira."
Oh my gosh. We have taken enough of your time.
And enough of our own. Goodness gracious!
Almost as much time as this film took from my life.
We're gonna cut a lot out of this. No, we're not. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Well, hey, thanks for tuning into the One About Godzilla movies. I agree with you. This is like the lowest point in the Heisei era. I agree with the haters. What is really, really encouraging to me, and I've tried to not say this. Just fell. I've tried to not say this too many times because I realize that it could like get overdone. But the next movie that we're going to watch, Godzilla versus Destroya, it's the last movie in the Heisei era, and it is easily, if not the best movie in the entire franchise. It looks good. It feels good.
And Heisei or Overwhelmed?
Overall. In Heisei
right.
and overall.
High praise.
It may be the best movie in the entire franchise. So I am really excited for next week. And to watch.
You're saying more than Shin and Godzilla -1 and all that?
I like Shin Godzilla a lot. I like Godzilla -1 a lot. Those two, actually, let's set those aside. Those are the most modern, like thought through Godzilla films. Putting those two aside, yeah, Godzilla versus Destroya. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. So,
all right. Exciting.
Patreon.com/the One About Godzilla movies for more bonus content. That's Brian. I'm Caleb. I usually at this point ask Brian if he has anything to say, and he never does, and he freezes up on the spot. And so we're going to do that again. Brian, you got anything to say to send us off?
There's a term called rubber ducking, and it's a troubleshooting technique that's often referenced in the software and coding world, where you have a problem you're trying to solve. And to help you figure out how to solve the problem, you explain your problem step by step to an inanimate object, like a rubber duck. And sometimes through the process of explaining that problem, you realize what the solution is just by saying it out loud. So the next time you have a problem, you can find a rubber duck, or you can ask someone if they want to help you rubber duck your problem.
Huh.
The more you know.
I do that a lot. I didn't know that had a term. That's cool. The more you know. Cool. I'm going to go play Arc Raiders now. We'll see you in the next one, everybody.
I want to play Overwatch. See you guys.